Ponytails. Read by Scribbler. Ditzy's Dance by Plyxe. Step. Step. Two sets of hind legs were parallel to each other, perfectly aligned. They were several inches apart, but connected. Each movement one made, the other copied or mirrored. Whatever happened, they were in unison. Harmony. Step. Step. They moved slowly, decisively, yet in such a relaxed manner that it seemed no effort was required. They danced a deep, silent dance, gracefully maneuvering about. No destination, no goal, aimlessly wandering, because there was no need to go anywhere else. Companionship. Step. Step. If any pony had been watching, they would have marvelled at the sight. The sight of two such content, happy ponies embracing each other. If there were, the two wouldn't have noticed, for their world was their partner, and their partner's world them. Love. Step. Step. One of the two lifted her head, gazing at her companion. The other pony simply stared down at her, their eyes meeting. No words needed to be said, for this visual contact stated it all quite clearly. The words that meant so much to them. I love you. Step. Step. Ditzy sighed and laid her head back against his chest. His soft, warm chest, through which she could hear his steady heartbeat and feel it as it thumped. The sound relaxed her, calmed her with its repetitive beats, making a rhythm that she could fall asleep to. Her lullaby. She knew because she heard it at night while wrapped in him. Here, with him, she could let her troubles fade. All the names, all the insults, they just slipped away when he held her. He was her guardian, her shield, and her comfort. Step. Step. It seemed that there was a spotlight resting around them, bathing them in a pale light. Then again, it could have been completely dark, and Ditzy wouldn't care. Wrapped in his embrace, nothing mattered anymore. She had always known it was him. It seemed like just yesterday he had been a stranger that she'd happened to walk into in the marketplace. But they became friends, and that friendship became something more. It seemed that they were made for each other. She'd found out he was a pastry chef. He tried to teach her how to bake. As it turned out, she wasn't the best at it. But she remembered the first thing he taught her how to make. Muffins. At first, she had completely, utterly failed at it. The result, charred lumps. But it seemed that he was determined to teach her. So they tried again, and again. Eventually, after several days and a lot of wasted ingredients, she'd gotten the hang of it. And Ditzy found that she really liked muffins. Step. He'd asked her once what her cutie mark meant, so she told him. A long time ago, as a filly, Ditzy was made fun of for her eyes. She'd been called names like wall eyes or retard, and worst of all, derpy hooves. She'd hated flight school. Often she'd spend her time away from the other ponies, even the teachers. Her favourite pastime was watching things. She would sit on clouds and observe birds as they flew below. But one thing that she had loved to look at were bubbles. Bubbles were extraordinary things to the young Ditzy. When she looked at them, she could see amazing patterns of colour and distorted images reflected by the light. They were spellbinding, but fleeting, wondrous creations. One day, while watching a few bubbles floating about, some of her classmates came over to ridicule her further, but were confused as to what she was doing. When they'd asked her, she explained. She explained that the bubbles reflected the beautiful things around them, and in turn became beautiful themselves. And although they only lasted a short time, this brevity succeeded in emphasizing their strange wonder even further. And then her classmates had sat and watched the bubbles as well, enraptured by their victim's odd philosophy, and saw that her words were true. Ditzy received her cutie mark that day, for she was able to see the hidden beauty in things that others would miss. Coincidentally, the bullies seemed to slacken with their insults after that. Step. That wasn't the end, though. Whenever she met some pony, one of the first things they would do was comment on her eyes. It wasn't intentionally rude, but it was still an implied insult. Then again, it wasn't always implied. Some of the meaner ponies, like the bullies, would be less neutral, and they would tease her or just outright call her names, like Walleyes, or Retard, or Derpy Hooves. He hadn't, though. He was different, and he had promised he would protect her from bullies, and all of the nasty things they said, all of the insults, and all of the names. Protect her. Step. They stopped their dance and looked at each other once more. He leaned his head down, and she leaned up. Their faces closed the distance, and never did their eyes stray. Their lips met.
I love you.
Ditzy jerked upright in her bed. Her body was hot, and the rush of cold air as the blanket was thrown from her torso chilled her to the bone. She looked around, confused. Her room was dark, illuminated only by weak light streaming in through the window, casting shadows that made the room seem even darker. The light was interspersed with small shapes, and the pitter-patter of rain could be heard as it fell upon the roof. Her heart sank as she noticed something else, or rather, something that wasn't there. He was gone. She was alone again. Tears welled in her eyes. It wasn't fair.
Why?
But before the dam could break, a small voice interrupted her.
Mommy? What's wrong?
Ditzy looked down at her side. A small unicorn filly looked back at her. She had a purple coat and a blonde mane. And there, staring at her, was a pair of golden eyes. Worried eyes. Ditzy forced a smile.
It's nothing, Dinky. Go back to sleep.
Dinky complied, rolling over and getting comfortable. Ditzy laid back down, draping a foreleg across her daughter's body. While Dinky dozed lightly, her mother observed her with a genuine smile.
She's so beautiful.
She lightly kissed the blonde mane and rested her head on the pillow. What he had done for Ditzy, Ditzy would do for Dinky. She would be strong. She would protect her. She would take care of her.
Sleep well, my little muffin. I love you.
That was Ditzy's Dance. It was written by Plyxe and read by Scribbler. Okay, thank you very much to everybody who sent me words of comfort and support my last upload. I really do appreciate it. My mum has had her operation now and is at the hospital. I rang a little while ago. I'm recording this again in the morning. Whether or not it gets uploaded at any point today, I don't know. But at the moment, it's Tuesday morning. And I rang and found out that she'd hemorrhaged twice in the night. And she is okay, but I don't think they're going to be sending her home anytime soon. So, in that event, I'm going to be using various different things, including my real-life work, but fanish projects as well, to kind of help me cope a bit, that I don't deal well when I have nothing to do. So, in crises, I tend to overload myself with different things. So, I just put out there that I'm going to need some extra voice actors to help with some future fanfic readings. In this instance, I don't particularly want to go to certain members of the Heroic Tale cast that I usually go to, for the simple reason that they're recording episode 2 and they're all really busy with their own things. Several of them have been caught in these terrible tornadoes and storms in America at the moment, and I really don't want to bother them, because at least 2 of them have had trees land on their houses. So my thoughts go out to them. But if anybody would like to get involved in fanfic readings, would you please let me know either in the comments or via PM. Both male and female. I'm going to need at least one female voice actor to help me with an upcoming project. So, yeah, I would really appreciate it if people would get in contact with me. And other than that, I don't think I've got anything very constructive to say. I am working on only a few hours sleep from last night, during which I've discovered this morning I managed to pretty much destroy my bed, in that I woke up clutching a small sheet and going, where is my quilt? Where is my bottom sheet? Where are my pillows? And they were all on the floor from all the kicking about I'd done. So, yes, please help me to occupy my frenetic brain. And if you would like to get involved with voice acting, please get in contact. Other than that, be lovely to each other, and good night, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Whatever time of day it is. Good day, everybody.